Chapter 13. Princess Athena. After speaking with Monty, I set the men to working on machine gun emplacements designed to provide overlapping kill zones. I also outlined my plan to divert the flow of the Ohio River so that it would secure our northern flank. But until the Army Corps of Engineers completed the work, I directed that a minefield be established between our trenching complex and the forest to our north. In the core of my presentation, to which I had appended 3 actual battle maps and 2 topographical maps, Larry interrupted me. "Why do we need to do all that?" Larry asked, almost rhetorically. "We have no machine guns and we have no mines." The men knew that Larry often failed to connect his brain to his mouth, but with me being the magnanimous yet dashing leader, I totally debunked Larry's frivolous questions. I explained that in war, a commander in a constantly changing battle scenario must make timely decisions once a majority of a plan's elements are in place. It's called the 80% rule. Indeed, if a commander delays a decision until all is known and all assets are in place, he will wait forever. That commander will ultimately be standing in a prisoner of war camp with a perfect plan, but nothing to show for it but defeat and dishonor. The minefield is a perfect example, I explained to Larry and the rest of the team. We have an enemy. We have a forest. The Army Corps of Engineers has not yet diverted the Ohio River, and we have a large perimeter we must defend. Clearly, we have most of the elements for the plan, so it's time for action. Larry still didn't understand the art of war, but luckily I have both a complete understanding of war and the inner workings of abnormal psychology. Intellect varies in individuals, and that IQ rating can be plotted on what is called a bell curve. However, skepticism, pessimism, gullibility, and delusion can manifest anywhere on that curve, destroying a person's life while dragging down society as a whole. Fortunately, Larry had me to look over him. After our noon meeting, I directed Larry to drive to Mitchell and buy me a uniform, as I was still wearing the robe from the NASA torture facility. My uniform was to meet the following specifications: a Panama hat with a bottle of insect repellent in the headband, a khaki shirt with 4 gold stars sewn on the collars, gold epaulets on the shoulders, and 22 oversized pockets, a leather belt 2 inches wide, with a pewter belt buckle with a mushroom cloud set in relief, a pair of brown English riding pants with the puffy upper legs, a pair of tall black equestrian riding boots with 3-inch heels, and a World War II German field marshal baton. "What size?" asked Larry as he was leaving the command bunker. Now realizing that I needed to tell Larry everything, I replied, "Get everything in my size and pay for everything with a redemption from my natural-born citizen account." A half hour later, I heard at least 6 armored vehicles approaching our position from the south. I dashed up to my observation post and directed the troops to take up firing positions on the east and west sides of the attack corridor. "If there are more than 20 tanks, or if we are otherwise overrun, fall back to the fortress," I shouted over the din of battle. Monty and Jake were the first to take station on their respective firing positions. "It's Princess Athena!" shouted Monty. My quick thinking and decisive action turned the tide of battle, with the tanks retreating down the hill, allowing Princess Athena and her VW bus to arrive uninjured. It warmed me in knowing that I had saved the life of a princess before I even met her. "My name is Princess Athena," she said, as she approached my observation post. "What's going on here?" I replied, "As you were driving up the hill, we were attacked by 20 tanks and a formation of P-51 Mustangs. However, we quickly responded and got them off your 6 o'clock. "CIA or NASA tanks?" the princess asked. "NASA for sure," I answered immediately. "It all makes sense then," the princess said, as she waved around a small electronic box. The princess and I retired to the command post to continue our planning. During our meeting, I learned a lot from this international expert in all things paranormal. Personally, I was a little rusty on ghost catching, but Princess Athena not only knew all the latest scientific procedures, but also had most of the latest equipment. She told me that the ghosts haunting the entrance to the coal mine were working for NASA, and they had been supercharged to demon status in a nuclear reactor located in the locker room of the Mitchell Junior High School gym. She explained that these demon-level ghosts would require more than the standard proton generator, electron duplicator, and alternating current flux multiplier. These demons would require a transgeographic multiplexer fueled by molten titanium fusion, that must be calibrated at altitudes above 35,000 feet. The princess had the 6 penguin feathers tied together with the sinew of a Japanese white ice monkey, and the 12 pounds of Tyrannosaurus fossils ground to a fine powder and mixed with hot lava from Mount Kilimanjaro. But she noted that the transgeographic multiplexer would cost around $100 million. I told the princess to order 2 of the multiplexers and put the whole bill on my natural-born citizen redemption account. I gave her 2 postmaster-approved postage stamps to place on the redemption instrument of withdrawal. After our meeting, the princess waved her monitoring device around the trench, and declaring that all was clear, she departed the compound. Larry wasn't back from town yet, but at 17:30, I mustered the troops for a team meeting. I complimented the men on their performance on the battlefield, and I asked if there were many casualties. Being assured there were no dead or missing men, I continued with a status report. Jump-off will take place once Princess Athena buys the transgeographic multiplexer and has it calibrated. The team will rappel from Monty's helicopter onto the beachhead, where we will neutralize all pillboxes and secure our landing zone. Once we have established a battle corridor, Princess Athena will proceed to the coal mine entrance in her battle-hardened VW bus. "That's the best plan ever," said a moon-eyed Monty. "How do you organize all that complex information in your head?" "You are just a trainee," I responded. "It's all classified information, and while you are cleared for operational intelligence, you have no, quote, need to know, unquote, strategic command information. Is that clear?" "Yes, sir," responded Monty.